Hi everybody, Pat Huntoon here from Technique Junkies, and today we're going to be making that beautiful leaf background using the new Fall Leaves stamp from Technique Junkies, which is this stamp right here, S864 Fall Leaves, and they're nice big open leaves. And that intimidates some people sometimes because they feel like they have to get out markers or colored pencils, and you can do those things. It is a beautiful stamp to do them with, but I have another way for you to use it that is fairly easy and doesn't use outrageous numbers of supplies. So what we're starting with is Technique Junkie Shimmering Bliss. Now, Shimmering Bliss is a dye-based ink that you spray on that has shimmer to it, and I think you can see the shimmer on the label. That's actually the color. This is Just Squeeze, so it's orange with gold. Dragon's Blood is, you can see it's got a red shimmer to it. It's so beautiful. And Vivid Volt, this is one of the surprising colors that is just so beautiful. It has a little bit of tinge of blue in it, and its shimmer. It is just such, these three colors together are so pretty. So I am going to show you how to use these and how to get nice intense color on your background before we move on. So the first thing you do when you have Shimmering Bliss is all the shimmer pools at the bottom. So in order to shake them, you don't shake up and down because that causes air bubbles, plus it clogs your nozzles. So what you want to do is roll it between your hands, gently roll it back and forth. And I'm starting with the Vivid Volt. It really doesn't matter where you want to start, which color you want to start with. See, it doesn't have any of the glimmer on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting my hand all the way down on the cardstock. This is how you don't create splashes and dots. If you want solid color, hand down on the cardstock. You're going to lift it just a little bit. And I am very close. I'm maybe an inch. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. But I'm only an inch away from the cardstock. And then I'm going to do nice, long, even strokes, as if I was putting hairspray on my hair. Okay? Look at that green. It's so color intense and so pretty. Now I'm going to do the orange, the Just Squeezed, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other one. I'm giving a nice little roll until that color's mixed in, and then I'm going to put that next to it. And then I'm going to do the Dragon's Blood. The Dragon's Blood is a nice deep red. So I'm just going to spray that corner. Now I am just using Nina Solar White, 80-pound cardstock, just regular cardstock. So this is my background. You can see that every square inch of this is covered with color. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than the stamp, and I did that so I could hold it down in my MISTI when I do the next step. So what you're going to do is set this aside, clean off your work surface, let that dry. It is pretty dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hit this really lightly with a anti-static bag because I want the gold to stay where it is. If I had this sit overnight, I wouldn't even bother doing that, but I'm going to do that this time because we're going to gold emboss this. I'm going to put this in my MISTI, and I did make the piece bigger than it needed to be, just slightly bigger, because I wanted to be able to use some magnets to hold it down. So I'm going to be using gold ink on this, and then I'm going to be embossing it in gold. Let me speed this up for you. Okay, so it's all gold embossed. It's nicely gold embossed. You can see it's really pretty, and I could just leave it like that, but we're going to add a little bit more color in an interesting way. So I have tacked down the four corners. Well, in theory I have. I've tacked down these four corners with some just washi tape pieces just to hold it kind of flat because I didn't run it through the Big Shot, and I probably should have. So I'm going to just take a paintbrush, and I have these Angora watercolors. These are probably cheap watercolors. They're made by Canson, so they're not so bad. And I'm going to add some water to these. So remember that we're working on just regular paper. We're not working on watercolor paper. So you really don't want to spray water all over your piece. So what I do is I just spray a bunch into my palette here. And I'm just concentrating on this center portion because those are the colors I'm going to be using. Okay, so I'm going to take my watercolor palette there. I'm going to pick up some of the colors that match the colors that are on here. So this is mainly greenish. So I'm going to be taking the green. I'm going to start with this medium green. Put my paintbrush in there, mix it up, get a bunch on there. And then this is where you're going to work pretty quick. Have a paper towel at hand. And then just go right over that color. You're going to work quick. You're going to go right over the embossing, everything. I'm going to add a bunch of color there. Okay, so this is the biggest leaf. So you want to make sure that it's wet enough. Just a tiny shot there, a tiny shot there of water, and I'm just doing nice big strokes here. Nice big strokes, because I don't want to pill this paper. The less I work it, the less it will pill. All right, so put a bunch on there. Don't want to move it around too much. Go to the edge. Okay, and then I'm just going to gently wipe that off just to make that green pop a little bit. I'm going to add some more, little brighter green to it around the edges maybe. Again, you don't want to overwork it because you don't want that paper to pill. And it will pill. We're working with a lot of watercolory things. I'm going to add some water to that, and then I'm just going to basically move it in and wipe it off. And that's what we're going to do with each and every color. So that is the green. Doesn't look like a whole lot of anything yet because it's not dry yet. And now I'm going to add some yellow to this leaf. Again, I'm going to go right over the top. Lots of color on my brush. Just going to go right over it. I want to avoid brush marks if I can. Give it a little shot of water, and then I'm going to dab it off. What dabbing it off is it removes the water, and it also takes it off of where it's been, the gold has been embossed. So I'm going to do that with every color. Let's speed this up so you don't have to watch it in real time. And when I'm done, I'll come back and tell you what the next step is. Okay, so I'm just about done with this, and I'm just going to add a little bit more red. I put some fuchsia color in here, and I don't really like it, so I'm just going to add some red to that corner and this corner just to make sure that we have a nice bold red, to make sure that we have a enough contrast in this, because you don't want these colors just to blend into one another. You want them to be pretty and bold and jump out from where it was sprayed in the background somewhat. Okay. So I think I've done that enough. If I spray this anymore, this is going to pill into tiny little pieces, and you can see there's a little bit of, it's not so bad. So this just needs to be dried and flattened, and then you can use whatever you want over the top of this to finish it off. Now, I want to show you one other thing that you can do if you miss, because what happens when you put the watercolor in there, I need a paper towel. What happens when you put all that watercolor over the top and spray it with water? It lifts the gold a little bit, or it lifts the shimmer a little bit that was in there. So you have two choices. You can put some shimmering bliss spray over the top. I'm just going to add iridescent topper to this. This is iridescent. This is going to add some nice shimmery color all over the top of this. Go ahead and do that. And this will add that iridescence right back into that piece. And I'm just going to leave it for a second. I don't know if you can see the iridescence there. Let me lift up the whole piece of paper here. It's soaked now. But can you see the iridescence that added back in there? Everything's iridescent again. So it adds that shimmer right back in, yet it keeps that pop of color that we added by using the watercolors over the top of the sprays. So it's just a little bit different way to make your colors pop on something like this leaf stamp. When this is dried, this is going to be gorgeous. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube and consider subscribing to the Technique Junkies YouTube channel. Thank you for watching today. I'll see you next time.